Everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host, Frank Holder, sitting here with you. Let's get ready to get the show started. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. My man, Talent in the building. What's up, T?
It's all good in the hood, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I can't complain.
I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody wear a hat better than me and you, Frank.
Nah, no better than you, bro. Better than you.
Me and you, we throw these joints on. They fitting right. You know what I'm saying? Look at Mike showing here.
Mike, how you doing, bro?
I wish I would cover this hair.
I know, right? My man Mo Swift in the building too, bro. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, fella? You know what I found out this weekend? I found out that it's easier to get out the ghetto than it is to get out of IKEA.
Damn.
You ever been to IKEA on a Saturday?
No.
Crazy. Oh, man. It is crazy in IKEA.
I'm the only Puerto Rican who can't build nothing. I never go to IKEA. I never go.
You know what? I feel you because I'm the only black person who don't eat sweet potato pie.
Yeah, the only time I've been to IKEA to do a comedy show, they had a room in the back.
A room in the back.
They had years ago, Bob Sumner, no BS. He had a comedy room in the back of IKEA. It was like this open, like ballroom space. That's the only time I walked through IKEA.
You had to put your seats together before you sat down.
Doors open 2 hours early.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Unfortunately, being as a black man who's married, I've been to IKEA too many times, more times than I can count. So,
Frank, you know how it is out there in Stoughton, right?
Yeah, I know how it is in Stoughton, and also not in Burbank. They got the largest IKEA in the United States, and I hate IKEA. So
this is how you got to judge your marriage, Frank. If you've been to IKEA more times, you've been to court. You're doing good.
You're doing good, yeah.
Fair to say.
Yeah.
The marriage is going well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going well. That's not the problem. The problem is I hate IKEA. That's the problem. All right, so let's get ready to talk sports, man. I don't know if you all saw this, but 30 minutes before we got on the air, Carlos Pereira made some big news, man. He ended up signing with the Twins. You know what I mean? So I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? He signed with the Twins for $200 million. So, he was at the Mets for $325 for 10. Then he ended up being for the Giants for $300 for another 10 or 12. Now he dropped to $200 for 6 years. So, he's got back issues. He's got a leg issue. But the Twins said, you know what? We're going to take that chance. You think that's a good move for the Twins, T? What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's the Twins, bro. You got that money, they're going to sign with you. I think it was a great move for the Twins. Let's see if they can make a couple more joints. You know what I mean? Put that team where it need to be. Because you ain't had no Twins conversation in a long time.
I got to tell you.
And we do a sports.
Right? I think Mike is definitely one of the signings, whereas they did it to make sure they put some butts in the seats. You know what I mean? Right, Mike? What you think?
Yo, with him and Kirby Puckett in the lineup, they're going to be no,
he didn't say Kirby Puckett.
R.I.P. God bless.
Wow, you got on glasses.
Sorry about that. It's funny. I saw the report on the little ticker thing, and it said pending a physical. And if it's pending a physical, no, it's like having a lot of money in the bank, but you never cleaned up your credit. And the bank's like, we know you got a whole bunch of money in the bank, but your credit score is still 450. So you said it's pending a physical. Like, I don't know what the Twins are doing. Like, the dude is legit hurt, and they still offering $200 million. That's a good life, man. That's a good life.
Yeah, it really is. But here's the thing, Bo. The years dropped. You know what I mean? It was 12, then it went to 10, now it's 6. You know what I mean? So somebody's going to take that chance to say, you know what, we don't care about the – somebody's going to take that chance, I think. It looked like it's the Twins. Mo, what's your take?
Yeah, my take is this, that I was watching it on ESPN earlier, and the way they broke it down was the less of the years, the easier it is to get past the physical. So they're saying in 6 years, I think he'll be in his mid-30s. It's all up to interpretation of the doctor. Right. So listen, I'm not faulting the man for trying out there to get his cash. I'm not even going to fault Minnesota because, like, when the last time you heard somebody say, I went to a game in Minnesota?
Or watched the game in Minnesota.
Right. So listen, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it definitely is that. In other news, because we want to keep it moving. In other news, Georgia Bulldogs repeated as national champions. And T, I don't know about you, bro, but I fell asleep on the game. I tried to watch it, but when it was coming to be a blowout, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be. This ain't what I thought it was.
The game was so terrible. For a long time, I forgot it was a championship game. So, my dudes in there, all like two dudes watching the manhunt. I'm like, B, football's over, fam. Like, why are you still watching the irrelevant bowls? This was the joint.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. But it was very boring. Nobody wants to see any championship game one-sided. Ain't no competition type thing. This game was a sleeper. I mean, we just turned all the TV. The game wasn't even off yet. We put them all on the Nick game.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, T. Will Stetson Bennett, his name is Stetson Bennett, will he go to the Bears? Because obviously he looked like a star quarterback last night. The Bears got the number 1 draft and the pick. He showed why he looked like he should be, definitely a draft pick. He's a little older than a normal guy coming out. Should Justin Fields be traded, and should they snatch him up and go to the Bears?
No, I would stay with Justin Fields. You got a lot more problems than Justin Fields right now. So again, this musical chairs with quarterbacks. I don't know who wrote this song that think that's the end all be all and the fixer upper, because it's not. That's your start. Once you get a bona fide quarterback, you got to plug them holes and dot them I's across those T's. Chicago has a good quarterback in Fields. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. Like Sean, what's your thought on Georgia repeating as national champions, man? And one of the most boringest games, but definitely one of the biggest blowouts in college football playoff history.
Damn, it's disrespectful when you whip the Christians' ass like that. Like, that is crazy. Like that was one of the things where all those people who wanted Alabama not to be in the playoff last night, everybody wished Alabama was in the playoff. Everybody was like, damn. We should have just left Alabama be up in here so we could have had a close game. I mean, I'm talking about the game was over within 4 minutes.
Yeah,
within 4 minutes, it was a wrap. And that game will probably help expand the college playoff so that things like Alabama not getting in won't happen again for the next decade. So they'll make sure they'll expand the playoffs so they can get Alabama and Georgia. Would have been. I'm tired of Georgia. I'm tired of Alabama, but they win. Right now, it's not a level playing field right now. And teams like TCU, it's a fun little story. Until the last game of the season, you got to witness that nonsense. Amen.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Talon. Do you think, since the Bears got the number 1 pick in the draft, and since Stetson Bennett was the QB, and obviously he's going to go as the number 1 pick in the draft, do you think the Bears should keep him and trade Justin Fields, or should the Bears keep the number 1 pick and trade down for more picks?
Stetson Bennett, you think is going number 1?
Yeah, he's definitely going number 1.
Dog, somebody's going to catch a super L when they take him. Just get ready for the LL. Get ready. Y'all going to catch a super L when y'all take him. Y'all got him looking incredible against a team that was so outclassed and outmatched last night. And at every position, they had no chance to defend against Georgia.
Yeah, but answer the question, Mike. Answer the question.
No. If I just said he's overrated, no. Justin Fields, there's no way the Bears can make that mistake unless they plan on picking him and trading him for somebody else's load of draft picks.
That's definitely a great idea. They could pick him and definitely trade him, Mo, because there's going to be a couple of teams out there that's going to need a QB. That's going to want a QB. They got a lot of draft capital, like the Jets and the Panthers and everything else. That's going to need. Actually, the Panthers need a QB too. So Mo, college football had this national football game last night, blowout. Georgia repeated. What was your take?
Yeah, just like everybody said, it was a corny game. The only people who watched that game after the first, was the people from Georgia. That was the only people who watched that game was the people in Georgia. That was it. They weren't even watching the game. They was in the club getting lit, tossing up. And the game was just happened to be on the TV because it was Georgia. Nobody watched that game. And then, I was pissed because I wanted a better game, And TCU, they weren't what they were supposed to be. If that boy go first, if Chicago do anything to their quarterback and pick that boy first, they need to get punched in them. Sit your ass down.
Yeah, that definitely sit your ass down home. My man Dave, the business bully, has joined the show. Dave, how you doing, sir? How's everything going?
Absolutely awesome, Frank. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. Like that hat, bro. Like that hat. Like that hat. All right. So Georgia repeated as national champions. You know what I mean? And one of the most boringest football games in college football history. But they repeated. That was a milestone all on its own. What was your thoughts on Georgia repeating as national champion?
I mean, two things. The last time you saw 65-7 was me versus Michael Jordan in the chicken wing eating contest. Secondly,
but I tried.
Listen, we all got to play to our strengths. The other part of that is, listen, the game did exactly what I needed it to do. I have not been able to sleep these past 3 weeks, and that game, it was visual ambient. Like I was bored.
Yeah,
not like a light, bro. It was horrible. Come on, stop playing. We got to do something.
So everybody's been talking about this morning that the Bears got the #1 pick in the draft, and the Bears is the topic about what they should do with that #1 pick. Should they keep Justin Fields and take that pick and trade for more? Obviously, get more picks for that, or should they get Stetson Bennett and trade Justin Fields? What's your take?
You keep Justin Fields by all means. And on top of that, what you need to do is shore up your you need to shore up your special teams. You need to shore up your O-line. Like I've been saying the same thing about Chicago for the past year. Like there's nothing wrong with Justin Fields. He just needs time and he needs pieces around him. You don't switch up the quarterback. The quarterback is not the problem. It's everything surrounding the quarterback. It's the reason that Tom Brady can play at 45 and Shannon Sharp had to retire at 34. Like somebody's getting hit, somebody's getting protected, somebody's making the hits, somebody's taking the hits. So, yeah, no, absolutely. You build the team around him by leveraging that top pick to get more picks in order to solidify it.
That's exactly what you got to do because the Bears got so many holes. They ain't got no wide receivers. They got no offensive line. They got no defense. They got so many holes. The smart thing would be to trade down. In other news, T, it looked like the California Legislative Women's Caucus shared a letter it wrote to Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel, who everybody knows is one of the most powerful agents. And they wrote to him because they want to remove Dana White as UFC president after that video came out of White slapping his wife at a nightclub. And they're upset because Dana White has had no repercussions at all for slapping his wife on camera. And the California Legislative Women's Caucus wants somebody to do something because Dana White, if that had been anybody else, they're saying they could tend to have been anybody else. And we ain't even going to talk about black person. They're just saying if it had been anybody else who wasn't the CEO of something as powerful as this organization, they'd be already fired, gone, something. You know what I mean? Dana White hasn't even got a slap on the wrist, T. Not even a slap on the wrist. So Dana White's in the news, man. What's your take?
Well, I mean, you got to understand something, man. I think people look at things a certain way when they look at what you do for a living. And this is coming from a fighting organization. You know what I mean? So I think it's taking a little more, sensitivity and extra minute before they get a grasp on, because some people probably looked and threw it away like, fighting, wrestling, UFC, boxing, whatever. It takes that extra push from the organizations that are against this, like the domestic violence and the abuse of women and all that's going on right now, to really put the pressure on the powers that be that need to make this happen. I think it's coming. It's slow rolling, but they're not going to let it go.
Okay, since he thinks they're going to let it go. Mike, what should happen, man? I mean, should the government step in? Something needs to happen with this Dana White situation. What's your take on what should happen?
We get mad because people in power have an advantage. Get over it. It's America. That's what happens. What do y'all? Good luck with that. Good luck with getting them out. Do I think he should have got more media attention? Of course he should have. But when you got Molly on ESPN literally siding with the dude and saying, you shouldn't judge people at their worst. That's all we do is judge people at their worst. What are you talking about? We didn't talk about Ray Rice till what? When he was at his worst. We didn't talk about Deshaun Watson till when? When he was at his worst. Dog, he has the influence of knowing that they got hundreds of millions of dollars invested in his organization. Good luck trying to get him not being the president of that company. And I can name 30 other dudes who did the same thing who y'all didn't make no noise about. This is that what's that called? That fake outrage. Mm-hmm. Like this happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving caught more hell for not taking a damn vaccination. Mm-hmm. And y'all were looking at us like, yeah, but he's jeopardizing this and jeopardizing. I don't want to hear y'all getting all upset now. Good luck. Have fun wasting all that paperwork and all them emails and all that lawyer power trying to get Dana White out, because ESPN is not going to jeopardize that money no matter what you do. So get ready for the next pay-per-view.
And then most importantly, the money. Mo, I know you got a different take than these guys that, or is it a sit your ass down moment?
You know what? My thing is this: are they yelling because they want him out for real because he did something wrong, or they just saying it because he rich and powerful? You know what I'm saying? Or just trying to flip or are they saying it because they want to be recognized? Because I ain't heard that caucus until you said it just now. You know, some people yelling for heads to roll, this, that, and the other, not because they want the heads to roll. They want the notoriety of saying that the heads roll. Let's jump on it now. So I don't know, man. You know, women do some strange things. I'm not saying it's okay to hit a woman, but what's your real ulterior motive?
You know what, Dave? Mo bring up a good point. I didn't even know there was a California Legislative Women's Caucus. I didn't even know that. But being that there is, and you're very familiar with obviously Dana White and everything else, and you follow that UFC, everything else. Yep. What's your take on what should happen with the UFC president?
Not a damn thing, Frank. Let's break this down logically for a moment, shall we? Dana White is in power because he's Dana White. Dana White has taken something that started in backyard brawls 150 years ago and modernized it and found a way to commercialize it like he does everything else. You know, I can go back. If you want to get Dana White on something, get Dana White on the fact that he is profiting off of something that black people have been doing in the community forever, which is slap boxing. He got a whole slap boxing division that they're making money on, that they find Hot 97 a crap ton of money for doing the same thing with black people, but when you put white people on it, it's okay. The other part of that is nobody knows who this organization is, but you know why they do it? It's the same reason that what's her name? Gloria Steinem, you know, CIA agents started talking about black women, you know, you're women first before you're black. It's all a hustle to get money. So give us money so that we can go after it. You know, and we can get more notoriety and more fame. This has absolutely nothing to do with justice. If you cared about justice, explain to me why there's still so many battered women shelters, and you can't name me 5 women in this organization. I call BS, and to quote my man Mo, sit your ass down.
Yeah, there it is. I like that. Hey, so T, I heard this morning that the Tennessee Titans made a lot of news because they fired 4 assistants, including the offensive coordinator, Todd Downing. So my thought is, damn, okay, if they did all of that and the Tennessee Titans are in the news and they're trying to make some more news, my question is this: should the Tennessee Titans trade Ryan Tannehill and possibly try to get Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield? You know what I mean? What should they do? Because right now, over the last 3 years, the Tennessee Titans have been getting worse with one of the best running backs in the league, and Derrick Henry. What's your take?
Yeah, they definitely. That's a team that I can see making the quarterback adjustment because you're clicking on other cylinders but can't get it done from the QB state. But I like the way you came into it with I'm like, damn. That's very funny. You was like, I'm like, damn. But no, that team needs to change the quarterback. They need a change in the quarterback because obviously you got the top back in the league. Like, you know, we can bank on Derrick Henry. But when that offense gets going, it gets very stagnant. Tannehill just not been getting it done. And he's had more than ample time to show and prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely has. So, Mike, the problem that a lot of people are saying is it's just the offensive coordinator. So that's the reason why they got rid of all their whole offensive side of the ball. So, and everybody's laying the blame on literally Ryan Tannehill and the offensive coordinator. Are we pointing in the right direction, Mike?
No, when you fire all the assistants, but somehow or another the head coach survives.
Right.
Like, this is the biggest scapegoat ever. Like, Vrabel, didn't he help pick these assistants? Didn't he help pick his own?
Had a hand in picking all of them. Yes.
So they basically just chopped down his whole assistant coaching staff and left him as just what? Basically, next year, if you don't succeed, you're next. And is Tannehill a great quarterback? No, he's serviceable. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Baker Mayfield ain't gonna change nothing. Like, I don't know what. And Derek Carr going to be in the same situation. You traded your best receiver, and he's playing with the Eagles right now. He's killing the game with the Eagles right now. So I don't know. I think this is just something to do for the fans to make the fans feel like we're doing something. Because the fans don't even know who the hell the candidates are to replace these coaches. They don't know.
I can't dispute one thing Michael Sean said, Mo. Not one thing, especially with the firing of the 4 coaches and everything else. So Mo, should the Titans fire Mike Vrabel?
Didn't Mike Vrabel didn't Mike Vrabel come from the Patriots camp?
Yep.
Well, I don't even know why they hired him. And I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it to be down in the Patriots camp. But honestly, name a coach. Name 3 coaches that have been successful in the NFL as a head coach that come from the Patriots camp. For
That's
some
funny how
reason,
you said that. It's funny how you said name a coach and then stopped after you thought about the Giants. Then you said name 3 coaches.
I'm saying, but majority of the time when you get a coach, even a player, you got to understand the Patriots are about situation, no football. That means that person looked good in that situation because it was the perfect situation for them. It's like a comic going into a room, you know what I'm saying, with his friends. Of course they're going to laugh. Of course the situation is going to work because you're perfect for it. But when they get outside of that, they're not successful, just like a comic. When you get outside of your friends, ain't nobody laughing.
I don't know about your take, because Brian Dable and Mike Vrabel have both been somewhat successful in their organization.
Somewhat. See, you use the word somewhat. I mean, you know what?
He threw it back on you, Frank. He threw it back on you.
I'll take somewhat out.
I somewhat got a couple of dollars.
I'll take somewhat out. Mike Vrabel has been successful overall as a Titans coach. And Brian Dable, his first year as a Giants head coach, is successful. So I'll take that out, smart ass. I'll take it out. My man Dave, the business bully. So I guess the question is going to be to you. Did the Titans make the right move firing 4 assistants and leaving Mike Vrabel? What's your take?
Firing 4 assistants is not Tennessee's biggest problem. Tennessee suffers from the same problem the Raiders suffer from, the same problem the Bears suffer from, the same problem a lot of these teams that should be further along suffer from. It is a management problem, and the owners not really understanding or appreciating the game of football other than their profit and loss sheets. And this is what happens when you don't have people who actually love the sport participating not only on the field, not only with training and conditioning, not only with merchandise and marketing, but you have to have somebody participating in the front office that actually speaks to what makes a team go. It's not just dollars and cents and X's and O's. There's a lot of intrinsic things that need to happen. But firing 4 assistants makes it look like you're doing something. Like, bro, I've got 5 people on my executive team and 300 actual employees. If I fire 4 employees, I've done nothing.
Okay, all right. Okay, I appreciate your comment. So before I talk about the games and the NFL player picture, I asked you guys a question, and I want to see what your thoughts are before we jump into what's going on with the rest of the NFL playoffs. So I'm going to start with you, T. Give me your top 5 in order from 1 to 5, your top 5 teams heading into the playoffs.
Okay, top 5 teams. I got a top 4, and my sleeper creeper makes 5. So on the AFC side, definitely Bills and Chiefs. Top 2. Coming out the NFC side, definitely the 49ers and the Buccaneers. Those are the 2 that I think you can't just go in there betting against. And my sleeper creeper, number 5 team, gonna be Detroit Lions, man.
Well, the Detroit Lions, I don't think they made the playoffs.
They ain't make the playoffs. They're gonna be a real shocker.
I'm telling you. They didn't get in. I thought they got in.
No,
No, they didn't get in. They got out. They bounced. So I give you the
my sleeper creeper.
Sit your ass down.
They didn't go. It automatically got to go to the Bengals then.
Okay, Bengals.
That's the sleeper creeper, because I don't think the Bengals are, in my mind, as good as they can play. I just don't think in the last few weeks, like, they've been tapping into what we've seen, let's say like week 12, 13, 14. So I'm thinking that they're going to need a little help. You know what I mean? But if you want to go with who looks like they playoff built and ready, them 4 I just named, at the top of my list, 49ers. You know how Tom Brady get down. You can't just whistle him out, because he comes back with these heroics in the last quarter and push you through what he got to do. And the Bills, to me, are back on track. And the only people in the AFC I could see dethroning the Bills would be the Chiefs. So that's your 5.
Okay. Michael Sean, give me your top 5 teams headed into the playoffs in order from 1 to 5.
Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, 49ers, Eagles.
Bengals is your number 1 team.
Number 1 team. They'll be back in the Super Bowl this year. It don't matter where they play at. And if they play in Kansas City, it's almost like a home game. They own Kansas City.
Yeah,
So
I think
I
the
got
Bengals is a team too. I think Bengals is a team.
yep,
Okay.
Bengals, Bills, yep, that's what I got. And the Eagles get in there and 49ers in there. I think those are the two best teams in the NFC. I think Tom Brady will win one playoff game. That's the playoff game against Dallas. That will be his last game as a Buccaneer. I don't know in the NFL, but that'll be his last win with the Buccaneers when he beats Dallas.
Yeah, I love that list that you said there. Mo, give me your top five. What's your top five in order from 1 to 5?
Buffalo, Kansas City, the Niners, Philadelphia, and the New York Giants, dog. That's my sleeper, man.
So the New York Giants got up in there. Okay, the New York
That's my
Giants.
sleeper, man. They know how to
All
pull
right.
out them tight games.
All right, okay, all right. This one I already know what their top 5 order is going to be. But anyway,
You
give me
do?
your top 5 order from 1 to 5 of the best teams heading into the playoffs.
One being the best.
1 being the best.
The top 5 teams going into playoffs are the
I know what
Eagles.
yeah, go ahead and say it.
The Eagles,
The
Eagles.
Tampa Bay- No, I'm not Dylan. Okay, because that's
I
still
was-
hot fire.
I was
Tampa
thinking
Bay,
that.
Yeah.
Buffalo, Dallas, and the San Francisco 49ers.
So you got Tampa Bay as the number 2 team heading into the playoffs? Okay, all right. And he didn't try to change it. Okay.
Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. And
Okay.
anytime Tom Brady wants to get his head out of his ass, dominance.
All right, okay.
What's
With that being said, let me ask you this, T. Where will Sean Payton land? Because Sean Payton has come out and said that he's coming back to the NFL this year. There's a whole lot of head coaching job vacancy open. And Stephen A. Smith said this morning he could see him landing in the LA Chargers because he thinks they're going to fire their head coach. Where do you think Sean McVay is going to land? Because Sean McVay is getting ready to possibly resign from the Rams. And they think Sean McVay is going to probably take another position. And it could be the Chargers. It could be the Panthers. It could be a couple of other places. Where do you see Sean McVay land?
I could see him landing in the Chargers. Definitely, I could see that. Especially, I think what's going to happen is the Chargers, we got to see how far they go. Because that's going to determine where they think they need to bring in, new coach and clean house a little bit. Because Chargers, when they're clicking, they're clicking. They just can't click all the time for some reason. So I would think the most likely place would be San Diego. I mean, the Chargers, I think.
Okay. Hold on, let me finish writing this. Bam. All right, so Michael Sean McVay is supposed to be resigning. Word is he's going to resign from the Rams. And if he resigns from the Rams, he said he's not done coaching. So that means he doesn't want to coach because the Rams is getting ready to be headed into a rebuild. So he wants to go to a team that's going up, not going down. Where you see Sean McVay landing at, bro?
I don't think he's going to coach next year. I don't think he's done with coaching. I don't think he's going to coach next year. I think he's going to be in somebody's broadcasting team because Sean Payton's going to get the best job. Sean Payton's going to get the best job with the best quarterback, with the best draft picks. He's going to take the ideal job, which would be Justin Herbert being right there and take that run at it. And I don't think Sean McVay wants to play second fiddle to Sean Payton this year. So you chill for a year. You become an analyst or a studio analyst. You make that $6-7 million, whatever they're going to pay him just to be up in there taking Sean Payton's spot. And then you wait till next year to see what teams do next year. I don't think he's going to coach next year with a team.
Okay. I don't agree with that one. I think he's going to resign and coach immediately. I don't think he's going to skip to go to the booth at all. That's my opinion. What's your opinion, Mo? Where do you think Sean McVay is going to land?
I think we can't even really answer that question until the playoffs is over. Because once the playoffs is over, then we'll know who got a job or who don't got a job. Because a couple coaches, their jobs is relying on how they do in these playoffs. I'm not saying that the question is unanswerable, but I think we got to see because, let Jacksonville go down. He might end up there because, these teams that are in the playoffs are teams that are ready to take the next step. They just couldn't get it because of poor coaching.
Well, I could understand what you're saying, but he could go and say, you know what, let me go to Arizona because Arizona got a nice position over there with Kyler Murray. He could do that now. They ain't in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
That's true. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we got to wait to see what happens in these playoffs to really give a definite answer.
Okay. All right. I think Mo's trying to lead that the Cowboys might lose and fire their head coach. I think that's what he's trying to lead at. But Dave, because he's a Giants fan, I'm just assuming. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy is out. You're right. Mike McCarthy, when he loses to the Buccaneers, is fired. He's done.
We don't know what's going to happen. We got to wait to see playoffs are over.
Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. And Sean McVay does make sense going to the Cowboys if Mike McCarthy's out. I can see that. But I'm asking this question right now because I think I want to. So where do you think Sean McVay is going to land right now? Because he's supposedly going to resign from the Rams. Where do you think it's going to be at, Dave?
I'm going to tell you, I don't know, because every time I turn around, it's just brand new coaching positions available. Like, I feel like one of us could probably go coach an NFL team right now. It's like they can't fill these slots quick enough. So I'm with Mo. I think we need to wait until after the end of the season. But you know what kills me, though? A lot of these decisions get made really emotionally because, like, you could get your team to the Super Bowl and lose the Super Bowl and still get fired. Like, nothing is ever good enough other than that. Hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could win the Super Bowl and still get fired. It happened in Philly. So, yeah, bro, I think we wait and see on this. I give this half a pair.
Okay, half a pair. Talent, what is going to be the biggest news coming into the offseason before we talk about the NFL game? Because I want to talk about the NFL games probably tomorrow because there's a lot to talk about. But what do you think is going to be the biggest news coming into the offseason that will be the entire big news? Like last year, everybody was talking about Aaron Rodgers the entire season. Like that was the entire offseason. What do you think is going to be the biggest news that we're going to be riding all offseason? What's your take?
I think the biggest news we're going to ride, obviously, usually something in the Super Bowl gives us something to talk about. But outside of that, I think it's going to be about depends on how long it takes to pay the people that's waiting on a big contract, like Jackson. So I think that's going to be a talk because let's say they take months of back and forth negotiating. We're going to be talking about that forever. You know what I mean? Because everybody's going to be talking about he bet on himself. Just give him the money. Y'all stingy. Let him go. It's going to be so much rhetoric with that, depending on how long that takes.
I think that's 100% probably accurate, Mike. I can't even deny that. I think it could be Lamar Jackson. We could probably ride that for months. Or it could be Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't retire, too. He might come back where he's going to land. It could be.
That would be a damn shame. Give him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it would be. What do you think is going to be the biggest news in the offseason to you that we're going to be riding into before the start of the 2023 season?
I was gonna let you go on the third riding, but pause.
Hilarious.
Wow.
It's childish, but damn, it's like 4 ridings in a row. I'm not riding any of these stories, but
let him ride, Mike. Let him ride.
Let it ride. I think it's gonna be Tom Brady figuring out what team he's gonna pick and what unfortunately it's gonna be the same old suspects. It's gonna be the same old suspects. Aaron Rodgers is gonna play this to the hilt on if he's coming back. If he's not coming back, then it's gonna be, is he going to the Packers? He's not going to Packers. Then 45-year-old Tom Brady will be like, I'm going here, I might go there, because he's not gonna come back to the Buccaneers. Or he might retire and take that $300 million that's waiting for him in the broadcast booth, which I don't know what he's waiting for. Another Super Bowl ain't going to change nothing in his legacy. He's just bored. Lamar Jackson, I wish would be a big story, but I don't think it's a big story to me. He's not getting the money that he wants from the Ravens. And the Ravens just don't want to tell him, we're not giving you the money. And these teams, collusion is going to be in effect. These teams are not just going to let NFL quarterbacks' salaries keep going the way they were going. At some point, somebody's going to put their foot down and be like, nah, we're not doing this. And Lamar's going to be the victim of it, ironically.
Interesting. I like all his takes, too. Mo, what do you think is going to be the biggest news heading into the offseason?
I think it's going to be a crapshoot. You know what I'm saying? You be rolling the dice one week, boom, plop, 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 it's Aaron Rodgers. Roll the dice the other week, boom, plop, 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 it's Tom Brady. It's going to be a crap. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who, you can't pinpoint one. It's whoever's making a splash at that moment. It could be Cleveland, you know, talking about their quarterback situation and let Aaron Rodgers tweet something silly that says, I'm still here. And then all of a sudden, it's Aaron Rodgers. You know, with this day in social media, you know, anybody could be the talk of the town for a few moments. So it's going to be a crapshoot up until the beginning of the NFL season, and we know exactly who's.
Hey, do that plip again. This sound effects is crazy. Plip. I just looked outside. I think I got a flat.
Hey, look, no. You know what it is? I've been waiting for this. I stepped my game up. I got a microphone now. That's why it sounds better.
That's a microphone. Nice.
Yeah,
Hit that
it's a
plip.
microphone.
Hit that plip.
I might do that for my girl tonight. Hey, you come here, give me some of that.
Oh,
Plip.
that's too much information. Dave, what's your take on who is going to be the most talked about conversation that we're going to talk about all summer long in the offseason? And don't say because the Eagles won, we're going to be talking about the Eagles. Don't say that. Don't.
I wasn't going to say it. Why in the world, Frank, would I be that petty? Say something like that. Like, are you crazy? Like, why in the world you think I'm so Eagles obsessed that I can't talk about anything other than the greatest football team in the NFL? I don't even think that's fair. I honestly have been a very, very good professional, but I think the thing we're going to be talking about in the offseason has absolutely nothing to do with the NFL except for the fact that the person we're going to be talking about in the offseason hasn't played in years, and that's Shannon Sharpe leaving Skip Bayless. I think that's going to be the story of the summer. I said what I said.
Okay, I can't even knock all that. So I got some games I want to talk about. I'm gonna save those till tomorrow because I want to talk about the games tomorrow, the matchup tomorrow. My most important thing that I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I want to do that because I want to definitely talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the NBA. So I'm gonna drop this out there for UT and just throw this out there and say it's now confirmed Kevin Durant is gonna officially miss a month and quite straight through to NBA All-Star Weekend. Some people even saying it could be 8 weeks. So with KD being out, what do you think Brooklyn has to do besides win? And do you think Brooklyn will be able to stay on the tick? Because right now they're game and a half behind Boston. They also have the second best team, in the league, to be honest with you, right now. But the second best
they'll be fine. This is, things happen by design in the universe. And I think this is also going to add to the book of building back up Kyrie Irving. So I think they'll be fine because they have a nice little lineup over there. They play 8-9 deep sometimes. So they got the players, they got the personnel. I think they'll be fine. And like I said before, level out and keep it level. And again, just look at the timing of this. This is a rest for KD, an unofficial injury rest, a rest nevertheless. Sometimes you go out because you feel like it, i.e. Kyrie Irving. Sometimes you go out of it because your body take you out of it. Either way, it's going to end up being a rest for Kevin Durant, but look for Kyrie to step into this position and show leadership.
That's definitely, I like that. So with that being said, Michael Sean, we know now that Kyrie Irving is going to have to be the one to take the mantle. He's got to have to do it. And Stephen A. Smith said this morning, if they can play 500 ball for the rest of the way, they'll be fine. He also said that Jack Vaughn is possibly going to be one of the candidates for Coach of the Year. So that's the conversation happening right now before the All-Star game. What's your take on KD officially being out for 6 weeks with Brooklyn?
Make sure you watch box seats because if the Brooklyn Nets do play above 500, nobody's going to be talking about it because they're going to be hating on Kyrie because they don't want to give him the credit that he deserves. So if Kyrie actually stands out and does what we know he's capable of doing and keeps this team going until Kevin Durant comes back to make this playoff run, we won't hear about it. We won't hear nothing about it because they'll just skim over it because they don't want to give Kyrie the accolades that he deserves after the fiasco they put him through with the COVID situation. So, yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. I think their whole team has been underrated. I don't think they understand that. Listen, Ben Simmons, I'm not saying he's doing great, but I'm saying his coach is starting to get him out of his funk. Like I'm watching games, like we're not going to get 20 points from Ben Simmons a game. But if you get Ben Simmons to where he's at 15 points a game, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, you're basically getting what you need out of Ben Simmons. And defensively, the man can D up wing players all over the NBA. That's just a fact.
Yeah, can't deny that. What's your take, Dave?
Oh, so glad you came to me, Frank. My trainer, my trainer, when I first came in, realized I couldn't do a push-up, but she got me to do one push-up, and that was 100% better than what I had done before. Let's not give this light-skinned Kardashian victim a ticker tape parade for doing average NBA stuff. Like, no. And then on top of that, Kyrie deserves all. The one thing I will agree with Michael Sean is Kyrie deserves all the respect in the world. He's a phenomenal player, and I thank God he didn't take that daggone jab, because he'd have wound up with a sudden heart attack or a bunch of other stuff like 1,000 other athletes have run on top of that. And then third point, can we really start addressing Brooklyn as what it actually is? The Philadelphia 76ers expansion team. You're welcome, New York. You're welcome.
Wow.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Wow.
Where do players come from? Why is it when I state facts, because you New Yorkers get mad, you know it's the truth?
Who came from the Sixers other than Ben Simmons?
Oh yes, the Curry boy, the other Curry.
Curry didn't come from Philly. Curry came from every team in the NBA.
Yeah, I know. But this is, but that's where
it's always when it's my teams. It's got to be all this old, exceptions. Sit your ass down.
Okay. Here's another question for you guys. Let's roll this one. Roll this dice.
Hey, am I chopped liver over here? You just skipped over me. I ain't get the answer.
I'm sorry.
What the hell? He thought it was you, Mo.
I did.
Man, what I do? What I do to you?
Went blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mo.
You know what? That's that me talking about the Patriots. This is what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boxies. This is what happened when you talk about New England teams.
Go ahead, Jim. Well, what's your take?
It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. They're gonna come in and blah blah blah. No, sir. You know what? I feel like a lot of teams are gonna come to Brooklyn. I'm gonna keep it short. They're gonna come to Brooklyn thinking they're gonna win, and they're gonna get Buster Douglas. They're gonna get Buster Douglas.
It's a hungry team.
Straight like that. They're gonna listen. The Nets are gonna just like ping. Buster Douglas.
He's a walking sound effect today. That's dope.
Next Michael Winslow.
It was in my sit your ass down. I never got to use it, and I found the opportunity because I didn't do sit your ass down Friday. Buster Douglas. Ping.
There it is. All right, let's talk about Donovan Mitchell, man. Donovan Mitchell got Cleveland playing way better than people expected, right? And Rudy Gobert is playing way worse right now that he's in Minnesota. So the question for you, T, is are we seeing the real Donovan Mitchell? And was the Utah holding him back? And can we expect greater things? And two-sided. And should Rudy Gobert get traded to somewhere else right now? Because honestly, people are talking about getting his head in Minnesota. Like, people are really upset.
First of all, where they played together? Where again?
Utah.
Yo, the funniest thing is the best decision a team ever made ever. You know what I mean? When they just two top players get to argue, both of you niggas get out of here. Our whole career, we always see the league take a side. Our whole career. Like, they get some beat. You gotta go, man. You upset him. Well, you gotta go. You upset him. This team said, both of you niggas got it. These niggas was that aggravated parent. The two kids. Both of you got it.
Got my face.
So anyway, what happens is, that's why these arguments can't happen in the NBA, because unfortunately, how do you win a game? You win a game by scoring at the end of the game. So you got one guy who's offensively miraculous. You got another guy who's more of that scrapper, definitely, top 10 at what he does. But again, when we look at it right now after the decision, we already know it's Donovan McNitchell. Just like Donovan Mitchell's like just in another stratosphere, hitting this boy scored 71, and they right after he scored 71, the next morning, random drug test. I said, yo, look at the powers that be. Luka scored a 60-point triple-double. Ain't nobody test this nigga for now, ladies. This black boy scored 71. They done brought in every type of group. Just like you said, that woman caucus, they came in and tested the They brought in the California woman caucus. But this just goes to show you how uneven it is. I think Utah is playing a game where, longevity and see how many chicks they can stack up off of these great players because they know, okay, so we're not ready right now. Well, let's at least prepare ourselves for 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And I think when we're looking at all this said and done, we know who got the better end of the stick. Cleveland came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they sure did. Mike, how you looking at Donovan Mitchell's play right now? Because he's at an all-star level right now. He's playing his numbers statistically better than they ever have been. What's your take, Mike?
He just had to get out of Utah. Like, he just had to get out of Utah. He had to get to it. He got to a good team in Cleveland who had a good season last year. And he's just better than Rudy Gobert. He's just better. He's just a lot better. He's more talented. He's more skilled. He does more things for you offensively. And that's just what it is. Like, Donovan Mitchell is trying to be an elite basketball player in this league, which he has done for this year. And Cleveland is on the way. I'm not saying they're winning a championship this year. I'm just saying they're going to make a playoff run, and next year they'll add another piece. Who knows? It might be LeBron, and they'll add another piece, and they'll go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. He just had to get out of Utah. That young man didn't deserve to suffer in Utah. Utah does great for certain players, but I need a city where I got like Utah makes Cleveland look like Las Vegas, dog. Like, real talk. Like, really, like Donovan he has to be so relieved to see other black people. Like, he has to be relieved just to see black people walk the streets and who are free. Like, it's got to be crazy.
Mo, what's your take on this right now? Are you expecting Cleveland to make a run? Because Cleveland, like, believe it or not, man, they're beating people they not supposed to be beating.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's doing good, and they're doing their thing, and all the accolades for Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. I had him on Sit Your Ass Down, because he was out there complaining because people were booing them while they were, blowing games, But listen, Cleveland's doing their thing. I mean, I'm glad he found a home in Cleveland because I really didn't want him to come to the Knicks anyway.
What?
No, I didn't. Come on, the Knicks would have had to give up. It would have been Carmelo Anthony all over again. Great player, nobody around him.
Yeah, I guess that's a possible way of looking at it. Yeah, that's a possible way. But I think Utah won a draft picks. Utah's doing pretty good right now too. So, what's your take, on Dave, on how Donovan Mitchell's playing in Cleveland right now with all-star level numbers and everything else? And give me your thoughts on Rudy Gobert right now. Should he even be in the league? Because people are saying he needs to get.
Jesus, like, why do y'all go to this extreme?
Damn.
I'm not saying I said that. I'm saying that's what other people say. I think he should be playing. I'd like him for the Celtics.
My
So people are
God.
like,
Rudy Gobert deserves to play.
I read 2 articles when they wanted him out the league. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, Frank is crazy. Yeah.
Frank is so evil. I think Rudy Gobert should be playing. Like, I think that sometimes we need to start looking at people for what they are. Everybody has an off season. Everybody has a few off games. As far as Donovan goes, it's a simple thing. I've been to Utah. I've done some work out there. There's nothing there but mountains, high altitude, white women, and barbecue. And the barbecue is mediocre at best. So, yeah, you get out of Utah, everything seems like an oasis, Frank. Just to be honest with you.
So hold on, back up to the white women.
No, I'm cool. I'm pro-black.
So you just Xing out all white women. That makes you no better than them, then.
It makes you no better than
It
them.
makes you no better than them.
Yeah, I knew it, man. See,
If we're gonna fight this fight, let's be fair.
we have to be allies.
We have to be better than when they go low.
I go to hell.
Lower. Let's go a little lower.
When they go low, we go white.
All right, Dave, can I get that? Dave, can I get that?
The views and expressions of the Box Seats cast are not necessarily those of Human Mill, Frank
Wait,
or
hold on.
anybody here on the Box
When
Seats.
does Mike do it?
How sensitive did we just get that we can't even admit to dealing with white women?
I'm just saying. I don't want the Women's National Caucus to be after
What
me.
kind of O.J. Simpson channel is this?
What kind of dry stitching are you doing right now? Talking about we.
What kind
Hey, y'all,
of...
we caught with these white women.
I don't understand what's going on. We can't even talk about it?
Bro, Bro, you about to make me put up another disclaimer.
Bro, all I said was, we gotta be better than them. We can't stoop to their level. You feel like a white woman, you go ahead and you get you. You understand me? Don't you worry about them looks when you walk in that restaurant.
That's
Don't
right.
you worry about all those black girls scratching her eyes out in the ladies' room. You just do what your heart tells you to do. It's a free country.
Only on box seats. Only on box seats. Well,
Our numbers
Put
of
it
white
back,
women just
white bitch.
plummeted.
Put it back.
Where the white women at? I'm going to the Klan rally. Where the white women at?
Dave,
The views and expressions of Mo are not necessarily those of Frank Holder's Box Seats Humor Mill or its subsidiaries, advertisers, or white women. Thank you.
Hey, Frank, I want to apologize for starting that part of the conference. I didn't know we had a predator on the show, so it was all good to the man. Where the white women at?
No,
Yeah.
It was the Klan rally. It was the
I didn't
Klan
know
rally
that-
that took it over the top.
I didn't know the predicate was disguised in sound bites neither with the blip, blip, blip.
That's the alert. Let the Klan know what's going on.
Hey, get it right. And bloop, 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 bloop.
Oh, there it is.
Yo, that noise is so nasty. That sounds like if that noise happens during sex, somebody caught something. Like somebody caught something.
First of all, Mike, they bringing that up in the courtroom. The white woman, and then he went bloop, 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 bloop.
I got a spray.
The judge, settle down.
Yep, and the judge give me the ping.
Yeah. It's gonna be a couple
I can't
years
even
of-
finish my protein shake now.
I'm sorry, Frank, but
All right, last question. Steph Curry's coming back very, very soon. Will Steph Curry be the difference maker for the Golden State Warriors, bro? Or do we still expect him to lose on the road? What's your take?
no. Right away, he's going to answer. He's going to put an answer and stop to a lot of the stuff that's going on. People don't realize, man. See, I think when we think of like Steph Curry and guys like that, when they go down, we think that just the scoring is missed. No, it's that leadership. You know what I mean? That look at the Knicks. Everybody out there dropping 25, 27 points a game a year ago, but there's no leadership. So you like, okay, well, how's everybody? We got 4 guys in double figures, but we're still losing because at the end of the day, you have to have cohesiveness, which comes from leadership. And that's the first thing coming back with Steph. He's going to get on the floor, come up there and control that floor. That leadership is everything. It can't just come from guys like, big guy. If your leadership's coming from the big guy, that's basketball backwards, first of all. The leadership has to come from the guy, the floor general. You need a floor general to orchestrate everything. You get the rock to your big guy, but it can't come from the big guy. So to me, you do a disservice to like a Draymond Green type of guy whose basketball IQ is pretty high.
Okay, all right, I like that answer. Mike, Sean, Steph Curry's coming back. You think he'll stop the bleeding of the on-the-road losses?
Well, they had 2 road victories before he got hurt. Now they got 3 road victories since he. No, this is gonna be the same thing on the road. I don't know what to say with the numbers. I honestly, I don't even know why they're so horrid on the road. I can't even put my finger on it that they can win. They can be 17-4 at home and be that bad. It's like they've got enough veterans on it. I don't get it. I don't think it's going to change, but I think Steph's going to come and drop 30 a game. I think Steph's going to do his thing. I just think there's something not right with this team when they're on the road. I don't know.
I don't either. Mo, what's your take on this, bro? You think Steph Curry's going to help stop the bleeding?
Yeah, he's going to help. I mean, Steph is Steph, man. Come on. You're talking about an elite player in the game that could basically shoot from tomorrow and hit the game winning shot. Steph Curry's going to be Steph Curry. Yeah, he's going to stop the bleeding. That's what they're missing. But it's just sad to say that the Golden State has boiled down to one player. They can't rely on the rest of their so-called championship caliber teammates.
I agree with that one. And Dave, the business bully, you give me the last answer today. Is Steph Curry going to stop the bleeding and or not?
Steph Curry is the Band-Aid on the bullet wound of a team that's about as organized as a wet dream with no payoff, Frank.
Whoa, that's low.
Period. Like, I'm sorry, Steph Curry is amazing, but he's not enough. Like, can we deal with some coaching? Can we put some actual plays on the board? Is anybody watching tape? Like, what is happening in Golden State? Like, it was Steph Curry and the rest of them boys. Now it's like, when's Steph coming back, y'all?
Wow.
Where? Steph?
Wow. Dave always give me those kind of answers. I never fail. Never cease to amaze me. T, tell me what's going on this weekend, bro, before we roll up.
Hey, man, this weekend I'm back up top, upstate New York, and Rochester's going down. But before that, Thursday night, my room that's in Harlem and Queens is going to be rocking. We at the Crab Queens in Harlem 125th and Lenox with our after work show, and then in Queens with the Truth Lounge, Merrick Boulevard. My man Mike Sean's hanging out with us this week. Gonna be crazy. Saturday, Rochester, 2 shows with Joe Claire, and then 2 shows at the Stress Factory Sunday with Joe Claire for Martin Luther King weekend, baby. No work Monday. Boom.
There it is, Mike and Sean.
Tell us where I'm gonna be at. He took everything. Check me out tomorrow morning, Media Room 360 on YouTube. Media Room 360. Check out the morning show, and then Thursday night we in Queens. It's all good. It's a good week. It's a good week.
Bo.
That's it.
Mo.
I don't have any more. Like that's for real.
I said.
You
Mo.
want me to talk about Steph?
No, not more for you. I said Mo as in Mo, the guy next to you.
Oh, you said Mo. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Mo, the guy next to you. Mo.
No, man, it's not bloop, bloop, it's bloop, 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 bloop. And that's where I will be at. That's where I will be at this weekend down at the Comedy Unemployment Line, filling out applications. Bloop, 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 bloop. So Wednesday, I'm in Springfield Wednesday, like I said, with Vinny Favorino, the Vegas legend, and John Sabatino from The Sopranos doing my thing. And then Thursday, I'm back in Boston at Asagio's down the North End. This is my time to hang out with the boys.
There it is. The business bully. Talk to me.
Yes, sir, man. Gearing up, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I will be there from the 25th to the 28th, doing all types of stuff with branding and weapons and all that kind of good stuff. Get your money right. So I'm excited about that. And I'll be right behind Mo in that unemployment line for comics. It's just what it is.
There it is. Yo, that's talent. That's Mike. That's Mo. That's Dave. The show's called Box Seats. I want to thank you all for supporting. It's going to come on again 2 times again today at 7 and 11. Tomorrow's show, we're gonna do the whole NFL games. We're gonna pick our picks for the week and everything else. I think Thursday. I won't be in here Thursday. I'm flying. I'll be in LA. I'm flying. I'll be in the air, but I'll be back Friday. But tomorrow's show, we're gonna have to look at some of the games and what's the outlooks and stuff like that's gonna be for the game. So looking forward.
What you got going on in LA? What's going on? Like
the Comedy Awards is coming, bro. I'm doing the Comedy Awards, so I'm flying to LA.
You a real casual about the LA thing, like.
Ain't you heard? It's called Big Pimp. Big.
Oh, here we go.
Big
Yo, we out of here, man. Especially with the guys doing the sound effects today. We're gonna be out of here tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time. Thank y'all for watching.